Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, another re-review of my previous channel, made for television, the NORLISS Tapes. It's a cool film, let's check it out. Spoiler, it's cool.
David Norris, cell 3.
Hello, David. Been a while. How's the book coming? Sanford, I've got to talk to you. No, I know. You want to tell me it's only half written and we're going to have to delay half written. Hell, I don't have a word on paper. It's been almost a year.
Well, this guy was just talking to was David Norliss, and he's supposed to meet him. He's like a reporter, writing a book, whatever. And he's turned up missing. The meeting never took place.
That was a week ago. He never showed for lunch, never phoned to explain why, and I haven't been able to contact him since.
You should be used to eccentric writers by now.
So this guy goes over to Norliss's place to investigate. Where might he be? He finds some audio tapes.
I'd better try and get this down exactly the way it happened. Ellen Stern's Court was recently widowed. Her late husband, James Raymond Court, was a successful sculptor.
Angie Dickinson plays Ellen, the woman he was referring to on the tape. She's a widow. Her husband recently died. And she heard a noise or something and goes to check and sees this guy, who apparently is very strong.
There wasn't a trace of him.
No, he was gone. And when I told them who it was, they wouldn't believe me. Now that's why I've come to you.
Well, Mrs. Court, why wouldn't the police believe you?
Because the man I shot was already dead. It was Jim. My dead husband, James Court. Gallery. And he met a woman there named Madame Jekyll. She owns an antique shop here in San Francisco, and part of her business involves the occult.
In what way?
She deals with objects that are supposed to have occult power. She even claims to cure the sick, and Jim believed her.
This woman apparently gave him the scarab ring also.
Yes. It's in his coffin.
His coffin?
Jim even specified that he was to be buried with that ring.
Apparently our killer, or whatever that thing is, her husband, kills indiscriminately. Claude Akins plays, as you'd expect, the local sheriff.
Get these spectators out here. That's where you found her?
Yeah, but I ain't seen nobody ever look like that after no car crash, Sheriff. She was like...
Apparently her body was drained of blood.
The collapsed sack-like appearance of the body was a direct result of a total evacuation of all the main arteries. Oh, Sid, I know. All right, I'll make it simple for you. The girl's body was totally drained of blood.
Miss Stearns takes Norliss to the crypt.
You don't believe me, do you?
What do you believe?
And there's a ring on his finger. This guy who runs his gallery wants the ring.
You see, Mr. Court's will declared that the ring should be buried with him. It's now on his finger in the family crypt. How curious.
So what does Mr. Gallery owner do? He goes to the crypt himself. And he doesn't find the late Mr. Court in his coffin.
You gave the court.
Norliss pays a visit to Mademoiselle Jekyll, the woman who gave him that ring.
There's nothing I can say.
What about the studio? I think you know something about the studio, and it's linked with the ring.
Mrs. Court and Norliss visit the studio, Mr. Court's old studio,
Before he died?
and they found a statue there.
This isn't his. Not like his work. Look at the face.
And her dead husband's going to pay them a visit. They managed to escape, but Sheriff Lobo clearly doesn't believe him.
See if Mr. Cord is at home to friends. Come on with us. Let's go.
But he has no explanation as to where the body went.
Someone's taken the body. Did you hear what I said? That's all there is to it. Somebody's taken the body.
Is it?
It's afternoon. 2 o'clock.
Where are you?
I'm at home. I'm trying to reach Charles Langdon. Has he called you?
No. No one's called.
That sheriff still won't believe me.
Angie Dickinson's sister picked the wrong time to pay a visit.
Firm who originally designed your place.
I found out how Court got into the studio without unlocking the door.
It came up from below. These blueprints I've been looking at show some very curious construction that went on back in the 20s.
Seems the people who originally owned the place built a series of underground tunnels.
Listen, when I met your husband, the thing he most wanted in this world was that his crippled body be healed. And so, I told him about the Osiris Scarab. I tried to convince him about its power over death.
Later on in those tunnels, our good friend Mr. Court. They try to get the ring off his finger, which doesn't work. She escapes out of there, hooks up with Norliss. They go back to the studio.
Everything but the eye.
That sculpture's almost done.
We can't let him come alive.
Well, they hide in the shadows, and Mr. Court appears, finishes the sculpture. Which brings it to life. But prior to Mr. Court showing up, they found some blood, and they put a circle of blood around the sculpture, which apparently you can't cross when it's on fire. So they started on fire, of course. And that pretty much ends the both of them.
But he couldn't accept it. The next morning they found the bones of a man in the ashes. The remains of James Raymond Court. And of the demon Sargoth they found nothing.
Our movie ends with this guy putting in a second tape to listen to, in the hopes that there would be a sequel made or a television series. Didn't happen.
It was a rainy afternoon when I received the letter.
All right, let's talk about the NORLISS tapes. Now, back in the 1970s, when we had three networks, basically ABC, NBC, and CBS, they would occasionally show, there was a lot of like made-for-television horror movies or horror-themed stuff, mystery-type stuff that would appear. A lot of that stuff has never surfaced on VHS or DVD. We were lucky enough to get the NORLISS tapes, as this one is, and those who saw it seem to regard it in pretty high light. I think it's pretty good too. Not great, but good. We have a writer named David Norliss who apparently has disappeared. So this guy goes to look for him, goes to his apartment, finds some cassette tapes, puts them in and listens to them. And then from that moment on, we basically get a flashback. We see the story that led to him. He hooked up with this lady, Angie Dickinson, Mrs. Court, who claimed that her dead husband has been roaming around the studio, the sculpture studio that he has, doing whatever. She shot him with a shotgun and took off running, and then he was gone when he got back. He obviously wasn't very happy. He looked dead. He was blue in the face, and he more looked like a monster. But of course, nobody believes her. Norliss hooks up with her and they do some investigating. Turns out he was into the occult a little bit and had picked up this ring from this woman named Madame Jackal or something like that, who had told, apparently he had some injuries and his body was breaking down, so he wanted to somehow last forever. So he had this scarab ring, which he was buried with. And I don't know. Ultimately, this guy, the dead husband, is in fact running around and he's killing people, draining their blood. He's kind of like a vampire. And all the while, he keeps returning to his studio to create this sculpture. And the sculpture is this giant, like, demon thing named Sargoth. And Norliss does some investigation, finds out that Sargoth is this demon type thing, whatever, I don't know. But ultimately, they surmise he's going to come back, he's going to finish this demon, it's going to come to life, and they got to stop it. So he reads about this thing called a circle of blood, that if you put it around something while you can enter it, you can't leave it if it's on fire. So they put a circle of blood around the sculpture. They hide. Court shows up, finishes the sculpture. The sculpture does come to life. And then they start the blood on fire, and then they're caught inside the ring. Mr. Court and this creature. The next day, apparently, the fire people found the bones of Mr. Court, and they didn't find any evidence of Sargoth. That's pretty much how this movie ends. Whatever happened to David Norliss, I guess we don't know. We flash back or flash forward, I guess, to the present, and the guy who's listening to the tape finds another tape, puts it in and listens to it, and that's how our movie ends. So it's like they were setting this up in case there was going to be a sequel or a TV series, something like that, which of course never happened. It seemed pretty clear that this movie was inspired by the TV show The Night Stalker. I read an online review about this movie, though, that points out what I think is a good fact, is that The Night Stalker was peppered with a lot of humor in it. This does not have any humor in it. There's you don't really feel for the characters whatsoever, really. So, but anyway, that's it. It is the Norliss Tapes, and like I said, if you saw this movie back in the day, if you were a little kid in the 70s or something, you probably remembered it, were frightened by it, the creature, and it was pretty cool in that regard. Does it hold up? Maybe, maybe not, but it certainly is for nostalgia value if you were around back then and saw it. So I didn't see this movie until I think the early 2000s. I had a bootleg VHS of it. And then the good folks at Anchor Bay put this out on DVD. Now, I'll leave a link to Amazon down below if you're looking to get this. And right now is a good time to get it. I noticed on eBay today you could get a couple copies in the $14 to $20 range, $25. But when I picked this up several years ago, used, it was like in the $60 range. So this probably fluctuates a little bit. Now's the time to get it while the prices are down a little bit. It's out of print. There's no Blu-ray, so this is your best bet, and it's pretty decent. So check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the Norliss Tapes. Watch it. Bye.